Okay, so I thought I'd make a DVD Blu Ray video because I think it would be fun and I just wanted to. I have like the worst camera and the worst microphone ever, so it's probably going to look and sound kind of shit, but I'm going to try my hardest. I could do my entire collection, but I have a lot, and this camera only has like an hour of memory, so maybe I'll do more when I feel like it and break them up. Sort of just when I feel like doing something for fun. Um, yeah, and I've got all my Chinese, Hong Kong martial arts movies here too, but I'm not going to go over them as well because it'll take way too long. Because I have quite a few of those. Enough that I could just do my own and like a separate video on them. But I'm going to do my Korean movies, some Japanese ones I have. I have like a couple other ones, just like foreign language films. And my Blu-rays as well. So I'll do this first. First movie is Pulse. Now Pulse is like my favorite, probably one of my favorite horror movies of all time, if not my favorite. I really enjoyed this movie. Kiyoshi Kurosawa is the director, and he's made a couple really good movies that I've seen and I really liked. The only problem with like him is he doesn't make enough movies, I don't think. Yeah, like he doesn't make enough of like these types of movies. He's only got about 3 or 4 like really solid like horror movies with that style. His style is very raw. It feels like, I don't know, it's just very raw the way he shoots his stuff. Like there's a scene in this movie where a girl like, or a person, I think it's a girl, like jumps off this water tower and kills herself, and it doesn't cut away, so it looks so real. Like it actually, it's like one of those things like, holy fuck, how'd they film that? Because it's crazy. His style's kind of like, I draw comparisons to Michael Haneke. Like if you've seen Funny Games or Cachet, it's kind of like that. Like it's really like not stagnant, but it's like, it's just raw. I don't know what other word to use to describe it, but it's really cool. I love this movie. It's basically, there's a virus that's been unleashed, but it turns out it's like the dead. They're like ghosts. They've got nowhere to go when they die because the afterlife is full, and it's causing people to kill themselves. It's a really interesting movie. Really like it. I've got 3 of his movies here actually, and Pulse is by far my favourite that I've seen. He has a newer movie called Creepy. I think that's the English title of it. I don't know the Japanese name. That I haven't seen yet because I don't know where to find it. I guess I'll have to like stream it or something. I think it was pretty well received too. This is going to be like really casual. I don't think I'm going to cut anything for this. So if I fuck up, I'm just going to leave it in there. This is Retribution. I like the covers for these releases. They're really cool. Another reason why I like looking at other people's movie collections. I think it's kind of almost relaxing, but it's really interesting to see different releases of movies depending on where you are in the world. Yeah. And we get different releases here, so it's cool. But Eastern Eye usually puts out good ones in our country. for Asian cinema anyway. This movie was alright. I think I liked it the least out of all the Kurosawa movies, for sure. I think it's just because it's not confusing. It's just not as engaging as the other two. It's basically a detective, and this woman in red has been like drowned, and he's trying to string the clues together and find out who did it. But it gets really creepy and strange, and all the evidence actually points towards him. I'm reading the back because I can't actually remember what happens, but yeah, it's really good. It's chilling. It's chilling. It's sort of like it's got the same style as Pulse, but it just wasn't as like engaging to me. I kind of got bored a little bit watching it. Very slow burn. This is Cure. This one's much better. Again by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. This is about like a guy, and he can like persuade people to kill. He's like he's like he does hypnosis, and it's really interesting because you don't really see how he does it, and the detective is trying to like figure out how he does it too, because you can't really. They're struggling to convict him because he's making other people kill other people. He's not doing it himself. It's like powers of persuasion, and it's just really, really cool to see. And it's like the bad guy, the guy who's actually doing all the persuading. He's really fucking scary, like intimidating, like it's creepy. It's just like that creepy Japanese horror feeling that you get. So Cure was pretty good. I liked that. This is Haimizu. I can't really say it. It probably is Haimizu, but I don't really know how to say it. And this is by Sion Sono, who is like my favorite Japanese director. It used to be Takashi Miike, but he kind of stopped. In my opinion, he hasn't made like a really great film since 13 Assassins. That I haven't really seen much of his newer filmography, but Sion Sono is like consistently artistic, and like he's doing shit no one else is doing, like completely. And I just really like his style of filmmaking. It's very bizarre, and you won't see it anywhere else, only in a Sono film. Because like he can make something like this, which is very serious, and a big think piece about humanity and how much a human being can take, and growing up with dysfunctional parents and all of that shit. But then he can also do a rap hip hop musical action movie, which is like Tokyo Tribe, which is really fucking bizarre. So I really like Sion Sono. He's always making something crazy. Like he's never just doing it for, like, it doesn't feel like he's just doing it for money. Like Takashi Miike kind of feels like that now. Like he's just doing these sort of manga movies, like these anime movies. But Sion Sono is like creatively pushing the boundaries of his films, even if they're shit. I always give him credit for what he's doing. But yeah, Haimizu is like basically after the Japanese earthquake and tsunamis. It's about this kid. He's trying to figure out what it means to be a good man in the world. Like, he's trying to be morally right. He's just trying to live his life, but there's so much outside forces that keep trying to push him to be evil. He truly wonders if that's really his destiny, is to be like a bad guy. And it's really interesting. It's got a lot to say, a lot of social commentary, I think, about the Japanese culture in that time as well. Super good movie. Here's Ringu, which I didn't really. It was okay, like, because it was built up to me like as like this huge legendary horror movie. Everyone's got to see Ringu, and I'd seen like parodies and about it, and it kind of. I'd say it helped kick off that, Japanese horror craze that everyone loves. And apparently the remake of this is better. So I'll have to check that out, I think, because I didn't really like this as much, but other people think the remake's better, so maybe I'll like the remake more. Yeah, I might check it out sometime. It had good atmospheric horror, I think. It really built up to its ending, and it is creepy. It is creepy, but I was like, I wanted to be scared, you know? I wanted to feel the fear, but I didn't really with that. Here's sort of The Stranger, which is an animated movie. I don't own a lot of anime movies. I think I own like 2 or 3. But sort of The Stranger is one of my favourite ones, just because it's done by Studio Bones. The story's really cool. It's like this wandering swordsman. He has to protect this little boy. These Chinese warriors are trying to like kill him or capture him for they're trying to make the potion of immortality, and they think it lies within this boy's blood or something stupid. But yeah, it's got really great sword fights, really smooth animation. I love the characters. It's very emotional, especially towards the end, and yeah, I think it's one of the best anime movies, and no one really talks about it as much. But yeah, it's really cool, and I like it. Oh man, I'm gonna have a hard time saying this one. Sukiyaki Western Django. Takashi Miike did this one. I actually like this. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's interesting. He takes sort of the Man with No Name Yojimbo movie, Fistful of Dollars style, and sort of remodels it for modern day wackiness. And it's like a Japanese Western in the style of a spaghetti Western. That's why it's a Sukiyaki Western, I guess. And it's got really cool action sequences in it. I like it. Miike's usually solid in his filmmaking. Like, as a filmmaker, he doesn't ever feel really shitty, and he's really good at like ensemble directing, kind of like big set pieces with multiple people. He's good at staging them and having them like fight, like choreograph them really well, which a lot of directors struggle with. But yeah, because there's basically like two warring groups, and then the stranger comes in. It's kind of like a redone version of Yojimbo, A Fistful of Dollars, you know. But the thing that bugs me about this is, like, look, they put Quentin Tarantino as top billing, because you know Quentin Tarantino is, but he's really like a glorified cameo. And I think he really likes Takashi Miike, and Quentin Tarantino really likes Japanese cinema, because like Battle Royale was one of his... Battle Royale is like one of his favourite movies of all time. So he's in it, and he had fun with it, and it makes you think. I mean, it's Django. He made Django in 2012. This one came out in like 2009 or something. I'm not going to sit here and look for the date. I'm pretty sure it was like 2009. It was around then. But it's funny to me. I think Quentin Tarantino just likes the archetype character of Django. And Quentin Tarantino loves spaghetti westerns as well. So if you have someone go, hey, Takashi Miike wants you to be in his Japanese western movie based on old spaghetti westerns, he was probably like, haha, fuck yeah. I'll probably do that too, to be honest. Another Takashi Miike film. One of my favourite ones by him, Crows Zero. This is really awesome. Really awesome. It's like, when I watched The Warriors by Walter Hill, that 70s movie, I wanted it to be like Crow Zero, but it was more of its own style, and it was cool. But this movie's so fantastic. And like, talk about how I was talking about ensemble staging and like choreographing a bunch of people at one time. This is like half a school running at another half of a school, just having a huge, massive fight. And there's like tons of fights like that. It's like, if you like seeing one guy just kick tons of people's ass, like, Crozo is like the fucking movie. Because it's kind of like in that, it's not fully anime where everything's so bizarre and crazy, but it's kind of got that in it. So you buy into what these characters can do. Like, you got Genji, who's like this new kid at the school, and he's like tough shit. And he comes in and he just like beats the shit out of everyone. And it's like, how are you this strong? But you just buy into it because it's like Japan, man. It's crazy. I fucking love that movie anyway. The second one is also just as good, which doesn't happen too often in movies, I feel. Like, usually you get a sequel isn't nearly as good, but for Crow Zero 2 is just as good, in my opinion. Those pretty much my Japanese movies. I got a couple more on Blu Ray, but I'll get to them after. I'll do these ones first. This is a Thai film, The Protector. I like this more than Ong Bak. Like, I think people will either like this or Ong Bak, or maybe they'll just like them the same. But I really like I didn't really like it. I thought it was okay. I think these Tony Jaa movies are a little overhyped. Like, the action's obviously amazing, but the way they edited, I really dislike the way they edited. Like, the guy who directs these and the guy who edits them, like, it's the same. I think it's the same guy. I don't think he's a very good editor, and it kind of lets the movie down a lot for me. But yeah, the action's still really good. Tony Jaa's still really good. He's always cool. I think it's just, I don't know. I didn't buy Ong Bak because I just didn't really like it. And a lot of people were like, Ong Bak is so amazing. And it just got to a point where it was so hyped up. For me watching it, I don't think it could live up to that hype. But, I mean, it says no stunt doubles, no wires, no CGI. I mean, that's kind of what you watch these movies for. Just the crazy martial arts. And there is good martial arts. Also, I think it's just a personal thing with me. Like, Muay Thai doesn't look as good on screen to me as other sorts of martial arts, which is okay, you know? It's cool. This is Dragon Dynasty as well, the release of it. This was harder to find. It's like double disced. Dragon Dynasty, I think, is Quentin Tarantino's company, where he released tons of older Asian films he liked, but they also released newer ones that would come out for America that couldn't get proper distribution, so he'd get the rights and distribute them. So there's a ton of really good special features on here. There's a whole documentary making of, short film, just some cool shit, which I haven't really looked into much, if I'm being honest. This is probably my favourite one by the director. It's called Chocolate, and it's really, really fucking cool. I like this more than Ong Bak and The Protector. I don't know why I liked it. I think it's just because it had a better story, in my opinion. I liked the lead actress. She was really good. She's such a good martial artist. Like, on screen anyway. I don't know. She probably does martial arts in real life, but she's so fucking good. Again, it's from Thailand. It's pretty much about this autistic girl who learns martial arts by watching like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan movies and watching like the Thai boxers practice outside. And she just picks up how to fight, and she does a lot of like that reaction shit that Bruce Lee does, where Bruce Lee would teach people to like react to a situation. So if someone punches, you sort of like deflect and combat, sort of. She does a lot of that. Like she watches the movements, see how they move, and reacts and like plays off what they're doing, and it's really, really fucking cool. And yeah, it's got a good story. She pretty much just goes around beating the shit out of everyone who tried to fuck with her family, because there's like debt collectors out for money from her mum, and her mum's involved with like all these gangsters, and she just goes around and just fucks shit up. It's really awesome. This is kind of odd one out because most of these are Asian movies, but I have like 3. Yeah, I have 3 that aren't. They're just foreign language. This is Bicycle Thieves. I got this because it was like $1 or like 50 cents, and it's a really good film. Those 2 guys, the kid and his dad, they're not even actors. They're real people at the time. This come out in a time in Hollywood, I think, where everything was really glorified because people wanted to sort of escape reality. But it's an Italian film, and it was like showing the hardships of the Italian depression, and it's super fucking depressing. Like the ending, just like a lot of people cry when they watch this movie because it's just so devastating. But it's real life. The director wanted to show what was happening in Italy at this time, and you know, it's very old, but I thought it was pretty good. You know, a lot of people consider it to be one of the best movies of all time. It's like basically the plot is this: the father finally gets a job, but he needs a bicycle to do it. It's like a delivery thing, but his bicycle gets stolen. So him and his son go looking to try find the bicycle for the whole day, and it just shows you like society at the time and what they were really going through. And I think it shocked people because, like I said, everyone was so used to saying everything's going to be okay and everything's happy, and then this Italian director was like, nah man, the depression's fucking real. This is Michael Haneke. See, I say it like that, but no one knows how to say his name, really. I mean, it's a hard name. I think he's Austrian. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. But it's a French language film anyway, directed by Michael Haneke. It's called Hidden in English, but its name's actually Caché. And this was one of the best films. One of the best films of the 21st century. Like it says down there. That's one of those I actually agree with, because this movie's direction is fantastic. It's like I said with Kiyoshi Kurosawa. It's so raw. It's so raw and engaging, and it just sucks you in. It's kind of like if you've seen The Gift. The Jason Bateman movie with, I think it's Joel Edgerton. Did he direct that one? Yeah, I think it's Joel Edgerton starred and directed in that. It's kind of like that, but I think this is like, not to sound pretentious, but this is like a smarter movie. It's more calculating. Like, The Gift is a very Hollywood-esque version, which I really did enjoy The Gift. I thought it was great. But there's something about this one, you know? It's like super creepy. It's unsettling the entire time you're watching it. You're just completely unsettled. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, where it's going, why the things happening are happening. It's very cool. Michael Haneke is like a true director, like a true filmmaker, and he's very old now, and he's got a lot of films I haven't seen, to be honest. He did Funny Games as well, so I mean, if you like funny games, that's the type of style he has. He's a very dark. Sometimes he's a very dark film writer, but it's very calculated and plotted out. He knows what he's trying to achieve. He's one of the best directors at presenting his intentions on screen, and that's really, really hard to do a lot of the time. And then the last one of these like foreign films is Rec, which is a Spanish film. And I haven't seen the remake of Rec, but I really don't think I need to, because like it says the scariest film ever on the cover, because I fucking love that cover. Look at that. It's such a sick cover of the film. Oh, I love this release. Rialto do some really shit releases, but this one's really, really good. Blair Witch meets 28 Days Later. I love the stuff they put on the back sometimes. But no, the last 10 minutes, honestly, of this movie are fucking, whoa, you're just sitting there like, oh my god, what's gonna fucking happen? And I was like tense the whole time watching it, because it's a really, really good, it's probably one of the best they're not zombies, they're more infected people. It's one of the best like infected movies ever, because the found footage genre is really, really hard to do well, I feel, a lot of the time, and I like found footage. I'm a kind of a sucker for it. If it's done really well, then I love it usually. And Wreck was just done really well. But yeah, that last 10 minutes, I don't know if people forget that, because it's so insanely creepy. You're just with the dude and you're like, fuck, what's going to happen, man? Yeah, that's a really good movie. Now we've got my Korean movies. See, I knew this was going to go for ages. I don't want it. It's fine though. 3 Iron. Oh yeah. Ooh. This movie, like, the cover always, like, put me off it. And then I watched it. I got this sent to me as well, because you can't find it here. So, it's I reckon it's probably one of the best modern movies. It has like barely any dialogue, so you can follow along, and it's just so well paced and well directed. Kim Ki-duk did the movie. This video is gonna be like me just butchering all these names, because I don't know how the fuck to say them. But yeah, it's really spectacular. I don't know, it's just one of those movies where I watched it and I got so emotional watching it for the first time that I didn't know. I didn't think a movie like that with such small amount of dialogue could grip me so much. But it's like pretty much this guy just breaks into people's houses while they're away, stays in their house, sort of. But if anything's broken, he like fixes it up, or he cleans, and he does a lot of stuff inside the house. So he leaves it in like better shape than when he found it, which is cool. But he breaks into this house, and this chick finds him, and she goes with him because she's in a relationship she doesn't enjoy, and this is kind of like her escape from that. And he's almost like, it's so crazy because he's almost like a ghost in a lot of ways. He's like a spirit, or like a feeling. I don't know. It's really hard to get my feelings out about this movie. It was just so good, and I really love it. I really love 3 Iron. I need to see it again. This has director audio commentary, which I was super hyped when I got this. Like, I was so happy. It was amazing. But Kim Ki-duk's one of the best directors in Korea in saying all this. And I think 3 Iron is just that special type of movie, Yeah. A lot of stuff happens during it, but it's one of those movies you're never bored. Like, you never get bored. It's sort of an artsy one, so a lot of people might be put off reading what it's about or like watching a trailer for it or something, but it's not like that really at all. It is artsy, but it's like so gripping. You're just okay. I think I've talked about 3 Iron enough. This is Bedeviled, and I got this one secondhand because it says subtitles on it, which means it's from a video store. But this is really a really dope film. A lot of tension. The ending is batshit. The build-up for this is really well done. Like, Korea makes some of the best fucking revenge movies, hands down. No questions asked. No two ways about it. They just do. And, like, this has a fantastic story, I would say. Especially for, like... It's not really a horror. It's kind of a horror. It's more of like a thrillery sort of drama type. I guess it's horror. It is freaky. It's just there's a lot of despicable people who all get their fucking comeuppance in this. I mean, it's glorious watching it happen, but it's also like crazy. This girl like goes home. She doesn't go home. Is she from it, or is it just? yeah, she spent some of her childhood on this island. She goes back for a holiday, and she hangs out with her old friend, but shit is just so horrible on this island, and she's just kind of witnessing it all. But she's kind of a despicable person in herself, and you'll see why when you watch it. But yeah, it's really, really good, and it pushes your limits. I just want to show you. It's R18 in my country for violence, domestic violence, and offensive language. So that tells you a lot. It's really good. Of course, can't have a Korean movie collection without Old Boy. And this is one of those examples, though, however, of Rialto doing a release that is super fucking shitty. Like, this was the only copy I could find of this in my country. We don't have it here on Blu Ray. Like, I think I'll probably have to buy it from the UK. But even then, it's super hard to track down, like in a Region B format. So I had to get it on DVD, and it's just really shit, the release. It's like almost like it's on a VHS, to be honest. But, you know, I'm still glad I own it, because it's one of my favourite movies of all time. And, like, you know, Koreans, like I said, they can do revenge so well. Like, holy shit. And the fight scene in the hallway is just amazing. Like, holy fuck. I can never get over that hallway fight scene. Yeah, it's directed by Chan-wook Park, and he's done like a Vengeance trilogy. He did Joint Security Area. He's probably Korea's most well-known filmmaker. He's one of the best. Definitely, pretty much all his films are really good. I think this is the best, probably his best movie, if I'm gonna be biased. But I also liked Lady Vengeance as well, like a lot. But Mr. Vengeance didn't really hit for me. It had its moments, but wasn't as good as those other two. I should say, Choi Min-sik, I think, is the actor in that movie. He's also really fucking good, and his performance is like amazing in that, like really, really good. Like, it's Old Boy. I don't know why I'm going on and on about it. You've seen it probably, and if you haven't, you should probably see Old Boy, because it's got a fucking crazy twist that everyone talks about and everyone loves. But also, it's I wouldn't say loves, but it's really good. I don't know how to phrase that. It's a fucking great twist. King of Pigs. The King of Pigs. This is a Korean animated movie, actually, and you know, I was surprised because there's not a lot of Korean animated movies. It's directed by the guy who made Train to Busan, which is super hard to do, to be so good at direction with animation and then live action. Like, that doesn't happen too often. Even Brad Bird, who did Iron Giant and Incredibles, who was super good at animation, and then he tries to do like Tomorrowland. You know, I haven't seen it, but apparently it's and I don't even really want to see it just by looking at it, to be perfectly honest. But this guy, King of Pigs and Train to Busan, like, wow. But yeah, this movie's really fucked up. Like, it is super disturbing. I think it's got a lot to say about Korean schoolboy society and just the social status as well, and what they go through at school and how it affects them later on in life, especially bullying and how bullying can fuck you up. So it's like these two friends meet up and they reminisce about their days in high school and how their lives were affected by a certain event and what the implications of that were. Yeah, like I said, it's just really fucked up, and it's brutal too, especially for animation. It's super brutal. Check it out if you'd like to be disturbed. This is A Tale of Two Sisters. This is also one of the best horror movies of all time, by Kim Ji-woon, and this movie will fuck you up because it's confusing and you'll probably have to see it a few times, because what the fuck was that ending? Holy shit. No, I really like this one. I got this really cheap secondhand, and again, a lot of these movies are hard to find in my country. I have to be really selective with the ones I do buy, especially if I want to get a good release, and a lot of the time these are secondhand. Can't buy them brand new, so Um, yeah, I really love this one. It's genuinely creepy and scary. Like, there's scenes where it's like, I was spooked. Really like that one. Barking Dogs Never Bite, by my favourite Korean filmmaker, Bong Joon-ho. But I think you really have to be Korean to sort of get all this humour, because a lot of it goes over my head and probably many other people's heads. Just, I don't know. It's fine, but it's not really good. Like, it's not like his other movies. And I think this was like his first feature, so or one of his first ones. So I give him a pass for it, and it probably did really well in Korea. As you can see, the dude's throwing a dog off a building. So if you're a pet lover, I mean, I really like dogs, and it was kind of fucked up watching this. I mean, yeah. It's weird because out of all the movies we could like release on DVD, he has so many good movies. East and I chose to do this one, and I don't know why. I pretty much bought it just because it's his movie and I hadn't seen it before. But it's fine. It's not for everybody, definitely. The worst fucking thing though is on the front of this. It says, "It's American Beauty on laughing gas." This guy could not be further from the truth. Whoever wrote that for Subway Cinema, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, because this movie has like no American Beauty on laughing gas in it whatsoever. I thought it was kind of shit, that movie. It wasn't like kind of shit. It just wasn't as good to me. Yeah. The Chaser, though, this one is spectacular. This is probably one of my favourite Korean movies. I go back and forth with this and Old Boy. But, like, again, the revenge thing. It's not really revenge in this, though. They do serial killer stories really well. Because it's like everything in Korean thrillers and horrors feels very bleak and dark and seedy. And it's shot a certain way. And it just feels... ugh! You know? I can't express it. It, like, feels... it's a way, it has a feel into it. And I really like them. I don't know if Korea's making as many good ones. Maybe it's just because you're looking at all the films and you're backtracking and going through older ones that there seems like there's a lot of really good ones. There's probably a lot of bad ones too that I'm just not seeing or hearing about. But it seems like now with modern day Korean cinema, there isn't as much like really quality movies being made. I don't know. Like a lot of Koreans movies now seem to be like spy type of movies or a couple period pieces and gangster movies, which I'm not a huge fan of Korean gangster films. But when you get something like this where it's like a detective going after a serial killer, that's the shit I like. It's really fucking cool. And Koreans do some of the best on-foot chase scenes ever. Like, there's so much running in this movie. It literally is a chase. Like, there's a lot of running. The guy's running around. And they shoot it so well. Like, it feels real. Like, in Hollywood action movies, the guys are constantly running and running and running. But in this, they'll, like, stop and they'll, like, need to catch their breath. And they'll be, like, struggling to jump fences. And it just feels really realistic. Okay, I need to, like, I've got, like... Blu Rays to go through, and my fucking card's gonna run out because I've got like the worst card. Here's City of Violence, Korean action movie, really well done for a Korean action movie. I think there's not a lot of Korean action movies. You can tell right away the director, he was influenced. He's actually stars in it too. He's a really great stuntman. You can tell they're influenced a lot by 1970s and 80s. Like Hong Kong and American action films. But there's like the final 20 minutes of this is just really, really insane. Like all the fights they string together. The style they're using. Like there's a lot of Taekwondo kicks, which I appreciate because you don't see Taekwondo a lot in movies because it's like a weird style for trying to choreograph into a fight, I think. That's probably why they don't use it a lot. But I think they did it really well in this. Yeah, it's like these guys going up against organized crime in their town. because for one of their friends, one of their school friends who died. It's just really cool. The last scenes of it, like I said, just amazing. A Dirty Carnival. A Dirty Carnival. See, here's one of these movies. I got like a few of these movies. Some of these brand new Eastern Eye ones were like $2, so I just bought a heap of them at one time because they were all on sale. Because opportunities like that are very rare. I got A Dirty Carnival. I'd seen it before, but it's kind of one of those movies where I would be like not too inclined to watch again. Like seeing it once is enough, I think. Because to be fair, like there's people who really love Korean gangster movies. Like that's their genre. They love that shit. But for me, Korean gangster movies are just, a lot of the time they can be drawn out or boring or have dragging scenes or not live up to my expectations a lot of the time. But A Dirty Carnival's actually pretty good. It's probably one of the better ones. But for me, I just really like American gangster films like Goodfellas and movies like that. Like American ones, the shit I dig. Martin Scorsese gangster films. But I don't know, Korean gangster films are hit and miss. Dirty Carnival was fine. The lead performance was really good though. Like, he's a really great actor. I don't know the guy's name, but anyway, here's my Blu-rays. We'll try to get this done within 20 minutes. Fuck, this is so long. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. The animation in this is really stunning. It's probably not one of my favorites. I got it for free actually. Is why Mamoru Hosoda, he's got other movies I like better. Wolf Children and Boy of the Beast, two of his really good movies that I love. But this is still a very sweet story. I think a lot of people negate Mamoru Hosoda and other anime directors who make anime movies because they're not working with Studio Ghibli, or they're not I can't think of the guy's name. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try to remember his name. You know what I'm talking about. The Studio Ghibli guy. The main guy. Yeah, no, can't remember. But I think a lot of people look and go, oh, it's not made by him, I'm not going to watch it. But movies, like, especially ones by Mamoru Hosoda and Satoshi Kon, are really fucking great. See, how can I remember those names but not? It'll come to me. Here's one of the best films ever made, and I'm so fucking serious when I say that. Love Exposure. Hey! Love Exposure is fucking fantastic. Like, to even try to describe this movie would be way too hard. And I could sit here, I could honestly just make an entire video about Love Exposure, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's 4 hours long. It has just about every genre in its makeup. It's funny. It's like brutal and violent. It's dramatic. It's a love story. It's like, fuck. It's like everything. It's everything rolled in one. What more do you need? I mean, look at this girl. She's so sassy. I love her. Holy shit. Count the boners too. Boner count. And try watch it with other people if you can. It makes it better. I watched this on Rabbit Chat with a lot of my friends, and it definitely made it way better. Like, so much better. It was just incredibly funny. And it doesn't feel like 4 hours. It just goes by so quick. And it's just really fun. I love this movie. I'm so glad I own it. This is one I actually did pay for from the UK. And it was worth it. It was really worth it. It's got the special features are crazy. Like, the movie itself's 4 hours long, like I said. But the making of documentary is an hour. And then there's another 30 minutes of interviews with Sion Sono. And, you know, the acting, and it's just really funny. Boner Boy is a fucking hero. He's a fucking hero, man. Martyrs. Okay, this movie's R18 as well. Torture and sadistic violence. um, Martyrs is probably like one of the best horror movies ever made. It's like ending. Its ending causes so much discussion. People constantly just like, what the fuck? I mean, you go into it thinking it's just fucked up because it's on a lot of lists of most fucked up movies or disturbing movies, and it is fucked up and disturbing, but it's got a purpose, I think, and I think the ending really reflects that. Yeah, but it's like a lot of scenes are hard to sit through. There's a couple scenes even for me where I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? Like, this is kind of tough. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have a personal connection to it in some ways. A lot of people have like an emotional connection to it in some ways, or like a visceral reaction. It's fucking crazy. I love Martyrs though. I love it. I love it. I'm fucked up. I'm into fucked up shit. That's why I also own Ice fucking Killers. I thought that was Ice or the Devil. Sorry, my bad. No, it's Killers. Killers is a Indonesian Japanese film, and I like the Japanese story because this guy, Kazuki Kitamu, I fucked that up. He's so good in this movie, and I just love his story. But I wasn't too hot on the Indonesian guy's one. It's kind of split in half, and it tells one story. It's like these two killers, and they're communicating to each other online. One's in Indonesia, one's in Japan, and they talk about it to each other, but at the same time it shows you the story of each. The Japanese one was just way more compelling. If this had just been one movie with just the Japanese guy, I would have loved it so much more. Okay, here's I Saw the Devil. Another revenge movie, probably like the most intense revenge movie. Like, fuck. Byung-hun Lee, Choi Min-sik, directed by Kim Ji-woon. I mean, it's an all-star fucking movie. All-star. And, I mean, I love this one too. It's so, like, it's brutal as fuck. There's especially a scene where a guy gets, like, his balls smashed in. That was something to sit and watch. But yeah, this one's super cool. I really like this. Again, Kim Ji-woon, one of the best directors, especially with Korean horror. I think Choi Min-sik's playing like such a crazy and intense bad guy. It's so dope. This is a bit out of the random too. The girl who played with fire. I'll just quickly say that I really loved all three of these movies, and this is the only one I seem to be able to find. I can buy them online probably, but I just don't look for them. I'm content owning this one for now. But yeah, I really liked all three of these. David Fincher's one in regards to that. David Fincher's like one of my favourite filmmakers, and he did a remake of the first movie. I thought, even though it's David Fincher, these ones still better. And I don't know, especially the girl. Oh man, fuck, I always forget her name, but she's one of my favourite actresses. That's terrible to say. Oh, don't do this to me. Naomi Rapace. I can't say names. Fuck the world. She's so fucking good in that role. Oh my god, she is Lisbeth Salander forever. I swear to god. The Raid. Best action movie ever made. No, it's probably up there though. Probably top 10 of my favourite action movies. Because the violence, the action choreography, the lead character, the villain, the high concept, just the simple plot of like, you gotta move up to the top of this tower and take out the big bad guy. It's like a video game, but it's so fucking cool. Oh my god. Like, once they run out of bullets and they have to start using their fists, and you're like, holy shit, man. These guys can fucking fight. And it's like, this is what I wanted Ong Bak to be, but Ong Bak wasn't this, and so I got this. And, you know, I think there's two camps of people. There's like the people who really, really fucking love this movie, or the people who think it's too violent and like their action toned down a bit, like their American action movies or their old school Hong Kong movies. But this is one of the perfect action movies to me in terms of like martial arts and pacing. And the director of this, Gareth Evans, he's a master. The Raid 2 is even better than the Raid 1. When does that ever fucking happen? Especially for an action movie. Holy shit. The Raid 2, I wish I owned that one. My god. 13 Assassins, like I said, one of the best Takashi Miike films, I think. And it's newer too. See, a lot of people discredit his newer movies, like I said, but I think this was one of the last great movies he made. He'll make great movies again, I'm sure of it, but for now he's not doing as well. So this movie's so fucking awesome. Again, with the ensemble staging and just working with so many people, he's got 13 guys up against like a whole army, and he just paces it so well. The villain in this is super fucking despicable. You'll just hate him so much. Oh, it's such an amazing performance by that guy to create such a despicable and like he's like Joffrey Baratheon in Game of Thrones, but I don't know, is it worse? It's probably worse. He's more like Ramsay Bolton. Yeah. But it's kind of like Seven Samurai, this movie. But I like it. This is probably a cinema sin, like a legit one to say. But I like this more than Seven Samurai. It's just more entertaining to me. Seven Samurai is obviously like a classic and super amazing and but nah, man, this is the shit. Okay, I'm running out of time. Morantel is the movie they made before the Raid, and its action scenes are just as good. I don't think the story is as well as the story's actually like, it's more fleshed out. It's more of like a character study, and it's showcasing more of like the Indonesian people and society, and like someone from the smaller farm communities coming into Jakarta. And it's really, really cool. He goes from his village into the big city, and it's just non-stop action. I think it was just Gareth Evans just testing if he could choreograph some of these crazy, I don't think he choreographs them, but direct and shoot some of these amazing action scenes. And it's really good. Check it out if you like The Raid, because you'll really love this one. And it deals with like sex trafficking and the slave trade, which I'm really interested in that shit, because it's just so fucking yuck, and I hate all those fucking people. And yeah, it's Indonesian, and it doesn't show away from some of the more seedy parts of Indonesia. District 13, French martial art movie, mainly because of the parkour. This is popular. It's got David Bell. He is credited as the guy who like invented and made mainstream parkour, and it's very cool. It's also got, where's the guy's name? I don't have time to look for names, man. Hayao Miyazaki. That's the fucking guy's name, by the way. Hayao Miyazaki is who I was trying to think of before. But I don't have time to sit here and think about names. Yeah, anyway, there's just really great martial arts scenes in this. It's really fucking awesome. I like this movie. And again, it's kind of like the same with The Raid, where the second one is just good, if not better. Battle Royale. Oh, I fucking love this one. I think the characters are just compelling, and the plot is just really cool. I mean, it's just interesting. There's a lot of cool characters, and I mean, it's one of the better Japanese movies made. I was kind of gutted when I got this though, because it's supposed to be double disced, but it only come with one disc, so I don't get all the really cool special features. But that's okay. I really like the movie. And here it says by Quentin Tarantino, my favourite movie of the last 20 years. I wish I had made this movie. There you go. He loves Battle Royale. He was actually going to be in the second one, but he had to film, I think it was Kill Bill he was doing at the time, so he couldn't be in it. Dragon Ball Z Season 1. Yeah, I really love Dragon Ball Z. These are like $54 a season. Like, fuck, I'm not paying you that over and over again till I have all 8. So I just got the first season, which I'm fine with. It's really cool. I mean, it's Dragon Ball Z. I don't really have to talk about that. Ninja Scroll. This is some fucked up scenes in it, to be honest. When I bought this, I didn't know what it was going to be like. And, like, it's supposed to be this iconic anime, but it's not even very good, really. Like, it's okay. Like, there's a lot of rape. I feel super bad for the lead female, that character there. She just, like, brutalized the entire fucking movie, mistreated. And the lead samurai dude isn't even that great. It's kind of forgettable. I got this super cheap, and because it's iconic, I thought I'd check it out, but... I got all of Cowboy Bebop on Blu-ray. Those are the sessions. This was like the best way to buy it, I reckon. They come with postcards in them too. Cowboy Bebop's probably my favourite anime. I'm not really into buying my anime. I'd buy ones that I really like, but so far Dragon Ball Z and Cowboy Bebop, probably the only two I'd actually really want to own. And I'm glad I own Cowboy Bebop, because it's harder to get, as like I keep saying over and over again. But yeah, I could do like a whole video about Cowboy Bebop. To be honest, it's so good. But everything's been said about Cowboy Bebop that needs to be said. There's way better videos on the internet, better than what I could say about it. Bodyguards and Assassins. See Donnie Yen's name? He's not even the main character. He's in it. I mean, he does a good job. It's more of like, I reckon, I don't really like it. I think there'll be certain people who really do love this movie. It's directed by the guy who did the Ip Man movies, so I thought it would be more in the vein of those, more of that style, but it wasn't. It was like this big sort of Chinese period drama, with less action than I'd hoped, so I wasn't too interested in it. Drunken Master by Jackie Chan's Drunken Master. Yuen Wu Ping's iconic fight choreography. He also directed it. Him and Jackie teaming up for one of the first times after Snake and Eagle Shadow. It's so funny. Like, still today. Like, this is a Senevies movie. Like, I could talk for ages about this and how it just broke boundaries, and everyone was trying to make like the next Bruce Lee movie, like try and capitalize off Bruce Lee's death and make Bruceploitation films. And Jackie Chan and Yuen Wu Ping were like, nah, fuck that, we're gonna make like this comedy, lowball comedy, and it become a box office smash, I think, or beloved anyway. People fucking love this. I like it a lot. It's one of Jackie Chan's best movies still, even now. Here's District 13 2. So glad I own this one on Blu-ray. I saw this one before I even saw the first one, and it like drew me in. It encapsulated me. That's not even a word. I really love this movie. I really do. I say that for like most of these, to be honest. But this has like way better stunts in it, I think, than the first one. And David Bell again, just his ultimate parkour scenes. Cyril Raffaelli is that guy's name. He's so good. He's like this ultimate stuntman, and he's a really great martial artist. His action scenes in this are so good. Like, the way they shoot this, it feels very Hong Kong inspired as well. So I like that. It's not like American action movies with all the weird cuts and the fake editing and the stunt doubles and like the French and whoever made this, like these guys, they knew they wanted to make a really hearty action movie, and it holds up. And then my last Blu-ray, which isn't technically an Asian movie, but it's Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee. One of the greatest martial arts movies of all time, really. It's iconic. I think like most people pick it as their favorite Bruce Lee movie. I don't know if it's mine. It's hard to decide, really. I feel like Robert Klaus is credited director, but there's no way you get that made without Bruce Lee's influence. I think he really sort of had a lot of power, more power than what people want to say in terms of his direction. So I really love Enter the Dragon. I really do. The philosophy inside of it, the action sequences, the choreographed scene, just how Bruce Lee stood and felt on film. It's all iconic, you know. So those are my Asian movies. I've got my this thing was like an hour long. If I did my Chinese ones, it would have gone for another half an hour. I'll make another video for them sometime when I'm feeling like it. But yeah, and this is a sock, by the way, because my microphone's so shit, I had to cover it with a sock so you don't get like that feedback. Hey man, I made the video though. I had fun. If you watched it, thank you.